much, Lauren. Yes, so Sabugalo EKSE Live here on DSTV channel 263. Upeto Sibulele Chali Mr. President Khotmane Balekle. But I'm fine get off it. We do have Umihlali. What an interesting topic that we are talking about namhlanje. Today we are talking about the peer pressure. Peer pressure or influence is whereby you do something because you feel you want to be accepted or valued by your friends or your peers, everyone that's around you. Peer pressure can be positive or negative depending on how we actually take it. And actually coping with it's getting the right balance between yourself and fitting in with a group yago, which is your peers.
Yes, of course, man. It's hashtag Talk Thursday Africa EKSE Live, and we never have the conversation alone, and that's why we are joined by very lovely guests. Namhlanje, we are joined by Kanya Jonas, ladies and gentlemen, a content producer, and of course, Uzothando Jajula, who's also a producer at Cape Town TV. So, just to start off the conversation, we know with peer pressure something that I think peer pressure is just for young people, you know, that are still growing up. But can peer pressure also be applied when it comes to adults? And before we just get into that, what would be your understanding of what peer pressure is?
I'll say the ladies first.
Okay, well, thank you for being so courteous. I would say when it comes to peer pressure, like my understanding of peer pressure is actually feeling insecure about yourself, not being stagnant in your own beliefs and what you were taught from when you were raised as a young child. I mean, as we grow and as we learn and we get in contact with other people, we get tested as to what is it that is organically coming from me and what is my internal voice and what exactly is the world forcing me to become in order to conform to what the world wants me to be. Yeah.
And for you, Zotando?
I think just taking one thing or two from Okanya is that I feel like peer pressure is you feeling inferior of expressing yourself the way that you feel like you want to express yourself. Now you end up being pressured to do things that are not really you. You're pressured by people around you, people pressured by peers to conform to what they stand for. So basically, my understanding of peer pressure is that.
Okay, so Umihlali did mention a point where she said that we get to isolate it and say it's mostly amongst teenagers or people that are in school. So when it comes to abantu abadala, can old people or young adults be influenced or feel peer pressure?
I think it doesn't say age pressure. It says peer pressure. So peer pressure, it doesn't have a certain age whereby now you're young, you are pressured to do things just because you're a young person. No, you can be pressured from your work. You can be pressured by your friends that you hang around with as a 20-year-old, as a 50-year-old even. So peer pressure is not limited into the certain age group of people. It's peer pressure, not age pressure.
And what do you think, Kanye, maybe coming to you, what is it that makes people actually give into a peer pressure?
I feel as if when it comes to that, it definitely has to do with not feeling like you on the same level as your peers. I mean, the older you get, there's always these milestones that you need to achieve at every single decade of your life or every single cycle of your life, where you'd feel as if, okay, when I'm in my 20s, I should be in varsity or I should be at a certain level, according to what other people around me are achieving, what they're getting, what they're not doing. And especially in a time when we live in where we live through our phones, we live through this facade that we are trying to portray to the world, it is so much harder, especially throughout all age groups until you are older, to feel as if, okay, ubanbani, unalendo, unendlu, unemoto, like all of that. I mean, they've got a certain bank balance, they're flossing that, oh, I've got a bank balance like this. It all comes back down to knowing yourself, doing the introspection, having the moments where you can sit still and listen and like block out the external noise and all of that that's happening and the storms that are happening around you, and be still and listen to yourself and your internal voice and saying, who is Ukanya? What does Kanya need? And am I working towards that for myself?
Okay, because bringing me to the next point, you'd find that, especially when we talk about peer pressure, people tend to bring it to the negative side. Everything is just negative. So when is peer pressure positive for you, Zotanda?
For me, peer pressure is positive when you influence me to do something positive about myself. If you pressure me to, like, Zotando, study, bro, that's positive pressure. Zotando, start this business, that's positive pressure. Zotando, do that about you. Like, the constructive criticism, that is pressure. Pressured by your peers. So it comes peer pressure, a positive peer pressure. So it's triple P's. Positive peer pressure.
Yeah,
Positive peer pressure.
We're definitely going to coach you on this, and I think it is so much important because we have more of a positive peer pressure. We don't only have negative peer pressure because like we go through a lot, and as Kanye said, but each and every single decade you see Usibu 10K more, and I'm like, yo, I'm also now feeling the pressure. You understand? So, but of course, the conversation here, so I Pelele Lana is true. We also have people on the street that also have to share their views on what they think peer pressure is and how it influences ubomi babo. So we want to hear out for the people at home. Nani, please make sure that you join in the conversation. But let's head over to Street Talk and see. We'll see what are the people at home saying, what are people at the street saying, what are you guys saying out there on the streets. Let's check this out.
In my experience, there's two types of peer pressure. There's the one you learn in life orientation in school, and then there's the real life one. The one in life orientation that you learn is, staying away from sex, drugs, alcohol. That's the bad side of it. And then the good side is, studying with the smart kids, staying out of trouble, making sure you're well behaved at home, at school, wherever. Then you get real life peer pressure where you're out with a bunch of friends and you're having drinks and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I can't have too many drinks because of the friends I have. Or I'm with this group of people and they spend this much money, so I need to spend that much money as well to, match their vibe and match their energy, which is a bit detrimental. And in my own experience, peer pressure for me has been, who I surround myself with, what they're doing, and how that helps me grow as a person. So that's how I kind of differentiate the two.
Peer pressure to me is basically when you're doing something to impress someone else, whether it's a group of people, like your family or your friends. Yeah, that's basically it. Doing something that you don't want to, but doing it because it's going to impress others.
Peer pressure kukwenza into wrong ne. For instance, thina sihlala elokishini, like yazi impilo yaselokishini ne. And sikhula sibabona abantu bi-drugs zilithishela, for instance itiki intoni, so you end up kubuza bangathi wena like different, so nxa ufuna ufitha in end up wenze lento uyazi ba wena wrong. So peer pressure ngathi like lokuxinezeleka ojongene nalo kontanga bakho, like into ibona yenziwa i-majority qonba eshi mina zabe ningotheni, even whereas into wrong most of the time ba into wrong. So yeah.
Peer pressure is like being forced to do things like to fit in, to impress people. And I've been a victim of Yona because like grade 9, I had to do things just to impress my friends.
Peer pressure is when you follow suit to what your friends do out of not wanting to be left out and wanting to fit in with them. And that's my understanding of peer pressure. Yes, I have. I think everyone has experienced peer pressure in some way. I have in school, you have to listen to a certain type of music or a certain type of artist or dress a certain type of way or have your hair done a certain way also. That's just like, yeah, how I've experienced it. It was once in varsity when my friends were smoking and I also decided to smoke with them because I felt left out. It wasn't drugs, it was just cigarettes. Yeah, it was just that one time.
Yeah, I'm done if into yokusela yabo. Like fumanisa okay nobody sespan xa kuthethwayo ha man injani weekend yakho ife yakho buthi hayi buhleli nje, which is it's not a weekend. So now I ended up falling kubone kulanto, and the peer pressure inga age ayipheli. Khona ubu teenager, khona ubudala, like as long as ukwazi uyihengilisha wena.
One thing I can say, that's very interesting, especially when it comes to Abantu on the streets. It's how we actually get to relate with stuff that we were peer pressured in, especially growing up in the township, in terms of gangsterism, drug abuse and all those stuff. And I must say that you get to be Abantu, we choose our restraint, because you get to choose from what I'm receiving, what can I actually do, because now I'm being pressured to go to the gym, and I'll take that as a positive peer pressure for myself. So it's up to you what you actually want.
Most definitely, the conversation continues after the air break. Ninga Inda, we'll see you guys right after this.